Welcome back to Smart Stock Sam, and if you've been following along, you already know what happened. We called it. Days before the move, we laid out the exact level, drew the exact line in the sand, and Palantir walked right into it like clockwork. A massive billion-dollar government deal, an artificial intelligence arms race heating up by the day, and a price target that just got confirmed in real time. Is Palantir stock about to explode? That's exactly what we're breaking down today, with next week's price targets, the full trade setup, and the one catalyst most investors are sleeping on completely. Let's get into it. Last week, Smart Stock Sam identified $140 as the immediate breakout target for Palantir. And on Wednesday, February 18th, the stock hit an intraday high of $140.96. Not close, not almost, exact. That is surgical precision, and that is what separates technical analysis from guessing. When you understand how price moves, where institutions absorb, where momentum stalls, where the real battles are being fought, you stop reacting and start anticipating. But here is what most people missed while everyone was celebrating that touch at 140. The real war was being fought somewhere else entirely. While the headlines were screaming about new highs, the actual battleground was down at the $135 mark. I called this the line in the sand. And this week, it proved to be exactly that. On Tuesday, volatility spiked hard, and the price dipped all the way down to $127.29. You know what happened? The $130 support level held firm. No panic selling, no capitulation, just a clean, rapid recovery that brought the stock back to close the week at $135.24. That kind of bounce doesn't happen by accident. That is institutional absorption, the big money quietly buying every dip while retail investors are hitting the sell button. But just when the momentum was starting to rebuild, someone very famous decided to crash the party. On February 19th, Michael Burry, yes, the big short guy, dropped what can only be described as an alarmist report, warning that Palantir could crater all the way down to $46. His case? High manual labor costs, bloated executive compensation, the classic Burry playbook: find the narrative, bet against the hype, and wait for the crowd to panic. Now here is the question nobody is asking. What are the odds that the same institutions quietly absorbing every single dip at $130 are going to turn around and sell because of a PDF report? This friction between Burry's backward-looking cost analysis and the market's forward-looking growth expectations is precisely why we rate Palantir a speculative buy. High valuation risk? Absolutely. But the fundamental story underneath this stock is becoming impossible to ignore. Let's talk about that fundamental story, because the numbers are not subtle. Palantir's U.S. commercial revenue grew by 137% year over year, hitting $507 million in the fourth quarter alone. For the full year of 2026, total revenue is projected to reach $7.2 billion, a 61% increase. Think about what that means. This company is no longer just a defense contractor with a cool logo. It is rapidly becoming the operating system of modern enterprise, the invisible intelligence layer running underneath some of the most critical decisions made in business and government today. Now, I know exactly what the skeptics are already typing in the comments. What about the valuation? Fair question. Palantir is currently trading at a price-to-earnings ratio of approximately 196 to 199. The software industry average? Around 25 to 26. By every traditional metric, this stock is expensive, wildly expensive. But here is where it gets interesting. Analysts at Mizuho are making the case that Palantir belongs in a category of one. No comparable, no peer group, no traditional benchmark that actually applies, because no other company in the world is deploying artificial intelligence at this scale across both commercial and classified government environments simultaneously. Which raises the next question: if the valuation is this stretched, who exactly is buying at these prices? It is not just retail. Institutional ownership just crossed 63.63% of the company. That is 1.46 billion shares held by major funds. Vanguard, BlackRock, State Street, the biggest names in global asset management are not just holding, they are adding. Just this week, new filings showed Sunbelt Securities and EP Wealth Advisors both increasing their positions. Let that sink in. While Michael Burry is publishing bear cases and retail investors are second-guessing themselves, the largest pools of capital on the planet are quietly accumulating. That is not noise, that is a signal, and it starts to make a lot more sense when you look at what Palantir actually just secured. This week, Palantir received Impact Level 6 authorization from the Defense Information Systems Agency. That is the gold standard of security clearances. It means their entire artificial intelligence stack can now be deployed in top-secret environments at the tactical edge. We are talking about real battlefield deployment, and before the ink was even dry on that, reports surfaced of a $1 billion software deal with the Department of Homeland Security, a 5-year agreement giving agencies direct access to Palantir's platform while bypassing the normal procurement red tape. These are not just contracts, these are structural moats, the kind that take competitors years, if they ever get there, to replicate. So, with all of that in play, what does next week's trade actually look like? The option chain for the week of February 23rd is telling a very specific story. There is a massive put floor sitting at $130 with over 16,000 contracts. That is your safety net. On the upside, $140 remains the primary resistance wall with over 10,000 open call contracts. But here is the level that should have your full attention: $145. That is where the highest call volume lives, over 17,000 contracts. We are coiled like a spring between 130 and 145, and the pressure is building. Which brings us to the one factor that could turn a steady grind higher into something much more violent. Short interest is sitting at over 44 million shares. Days to cover? Just 1.02. That means short sellers have almost no room to maneuver if this stock starts moving against them. If Palantir breaks and holds above $140, those 44 million short shares do not disappear. They have to be bought back, all at once, into a rising market. That is the definition of a short squeeze, and it could send this stock screaming toward $145 faster than most people are prepared for. So what is the actual play? Now, before I give you my analysis on trading setup, a quick but important reminder. Everything discussed on this channel is for informational and educational purposes only. Nothing here constitutes personalized financial advice or a recommendation to buy or sell any security. Markets are unpredictable, all investments carry risk, and you should always do your own research or consult a licensed financial professional before making any investment decisions. Past accuracy does not guarantee future results. All right, here is the trade setup for next week. A market entry at $135 keeps you positioned at the current line in the sand. If you want to be more tactical, a limit order at $130 lets you catch a potential retest of that heavy put floor with a tighter risk profile. Critical support, the level where the short-term bullish thesis breaks down, is $125. Below that, we reassess. But as long as price holds above $130, the momentum remains firmly with the bulls and the setup stays intact. With that said, let's talk about what this is all worth if the thesis plays out. Mizuho recently upgraded Palantir to outperform with a price target of $195. The broader Analyst mean target sits even higher at $207. And for the long-term believers, some models, accounting for Palantir's projected capture of the AI software market, put the stock at $300 by 2030. Our internal long-term target sits at $260. The Department of Defense authorization, the billion-dollar DHS deal, the institutional accumulation, the commercial revenue explosion, every single piece of this puzzle is pointing in the same direction. Michael Burry called $46. The institutions called it a buy. The chart called 140, and the chart was right. Palantir is not just a stock. It is a high-stakes bet on who controls the intelligence infrastructure of the future. The breakout is here. The setup is live. And next week could be the week everything accelerates. If this breakdown gave you an edge, drop a comment below. Tell me your price target for Palantir by end of month. Smash that like button if you want more setups like this, and subscribe to Smart Stock Sam so you never miss a call before it happens. See you next week.